Okay, greetings everyone, and welcome to Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. The truth is, I'm looking a little dark, but don't worry about it. We'll fix that. Let's press on. Um, you all know what I look like. I want to welcome all my subscribers. Thank you for stopping by my channel. Um, I want to welcome my subscribers back and try to encourage those of you who haven't subscribed to subscribe, share, tell a friend, man, about this fantastic new blog called Gerard Black in the Philippines with the Truth. And that's me. And I want to welcome my scallywags, my triggers, my peaches, my commenters. Each and every one of you how you doing? Are precious to me. I hope that looked like a heart. But anyway, welcome to my channel. There are, I'm still in the process of settling in. It's funny because when I lived in Bacon, I lived in a house. Uh, that was when I moved from Cebu land. And I moved. Let me back up. Rewind. When I first landed in the Philippines, I lived in Cebu. I stayed for 9 months at a hotel called Dynasty Tourist Inn. It's ran by Jen and my nieces and nephews. So if you ever plan to go to Cebu, call Dynasty Inn and tell Jen, say, Jen, Gerard told me about this hotel and I want to stay here. I want to follow in his footsteps like Lewis and Clark. So anyway, what happened was that, I lived there for very unusually long time for living in a hotel, but that's where I stayed. And so anyway, so from there I moved into a condominium. I lived in a condominium for about I don't know how many months it was, but I lived in a condominium. I don't know if you're hearing this fan or how loud the fan is, but I do have it on. I will listen back and see what it sounds like. Let me do that now. So just hold on a second. Okay, so I made a determination. It's not interfering that much with the sound quality as I thought it would have. But anyway, I moved into a condominium and I was there for I don't know how long it was. It was very nice. I lived like on the fifth floor or something like that. It was tall, a sky riser. It had a pool on top, and if you go to some of my videos in Filipino Soul magazine on YouTube, you'll see some of the escapades that transpired at that condominium, especially in the pool. But so Helen and I was there, and Helen actually bit a hole in the mattress as a puppy, So they charged me 10,000 pesos to replace that mattress. So this is this is at the time when Helen was really going through it, and so that's why I say I wish she had puppies because she owed me a lot of money. So anyway, so I moved from there and I moved to Subuland into Dumaguete, and uh, the way I found a place to move because I heard that Dumaguete had a lot of foreigners in there, a lot of restaurants and all that stuff. So I moved there, and I was looking for some place to stop and ask. At that time, I had Ellen Bayou with me. I had Helen with me, and I think I had a driver. I don't know if I had a driver, but anyway, yeah, I had a driver because I didn't have a car at the time. And I saw the restaurant Bogart because so I figured what better place to stop and inquire would be at a place called Bogart, named after Humphrey Bogart, the actor who was married to Lauren Bacall, and he was just a fantastic actor. I watch a lot of black and white movies shows today, like The Untouchables, The Fugitive. When acting was good, and you see a lot of young actors who are now old and vintage, or who have passed on. So anyway, so I stopped at Bogart and met Andy, and Andy gave me the name of a realtor, and the realtor gave me the name of the place where I moved into Subuland. And it was a nice house, nice fenced in. Helen could run around, and and I didn't have to worry about too much about her. I remember one time she got out, and because see, Helen is a runner. Helen still has a lot of wildness in her. If she was to go out this gate, she would be gone. She would not come back at all. It took her almost 2 days for her to come back. To go upstairs up here to come into the house because she was just such a strange environment. So anyway, what drove me out of there was because I was in a place called Northville, and Northville is like a gated community living, and but here in the Philippines they have a word called meritive. A meritive is like gossip, 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 gossip. The meritive, and that's what kind of got me kind of like turned away from this place because at that time I had a housekeeper and when she used to come to work in the morning, she would say, "Oh, you had company last night." I said, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "How did you know?" And like, there was just so much talking that it was just I felt I didn't have any privacy. So I decided to move out of there, and I moved into Bacon. Now in Bacon, it was a lot bigger area. It was near the beach. I was a stone throw from the beach, and it was a gated area, and Helen had all this room that she could run around and just be a puppy, And she had the most unusual habit. I used to heat pork bones when I boil them, and then I give them to a hot, and just and she would just watch them, while they cool down, and she had an unusual habit of eating her food on the table. So she would only eat unless not a dining room table, but a small coffee table. She would only eat on a coffee table. So that's what she would eat things. So anyway, we had caretakers in the back who took care of the property. Now this property was owned by a doctor and his wife. He's a dentist. His daughter's a dentist. But anyway, the property was owned, and I think Friday they had a nice big party where they play cards and all that stuff, and I played cards, and they had a good time. So anyway, but they started getting chickens and goats and what have you, and it drove Helen crazy because Helen started chasing the chickens and goats, So which led me to have to put Helen on a leash, when she was outside. I would walk her now instead of just letting her run around, which I felt was kind of cruel. But anyway, I had to because she was killing everything that was, everything on four legs, So anyway, so the family who lived there were very poor. You know, it was a husband and wife, and I think they had like 4 children. They were young, and there were a lot of times when I would feed them. There's a lot of times I would buy extra food, knowing that I would be feeding them. And they used to come. They used to always, come sit, outside my door, and I gave them my password to my Wi-Fi so they could come and they could use whatever gadget they had, to use Wi-Fi. So, sometimes the wife, I would ask her to cook a meal for me. She would cook. She gradually became my housekeeper also, because that's what she did, housekeeper work. So she would come to my house about every day or every other day, or I would just tell her, "Hey, girlfriend, clean my house today," and she would come and she'd clean it. And the husband, Sai, this guy was a master maintenance guy. This guy, he was a mechanic. I've seen him rebuild vehicles. I've seen him fix plumbing. I've seen him do all kinds of things. But what he did for me, he built me a boat. Because I wanted to go fishing, that's what I want. I want to fish, So I see these guys. Well, he said, "I can make you a boat." I said, "You can make me a boat?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "How much?" 1,000 pesos, $20, and you'll make me a boat. sold. And he made me a nice. I wish I had a picture of it. I might have it somewhere. And he had on the side of it Filipino Soul magazine, and it was nice and had a little motor that said. But that's the type of guy he was. You know how talented he was. Now him and I was getting involved in this project to rebuild this girl's house who lived somewhere else. And we went, we decided how many bricks, how much, because I wanted to, I'm about helping people. I mean, I'm no Jimmy Carter, but, President Jimmy Carter. But, if I'm able to help you, to make your life better, even if it means building a wall and putting windows in your house, it's no sweat off of my brow. I would do that. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I want to make a difference in your life. And that's what drives me now is that I want to make a difference. So anyway, so what happened was that I got another guy. We had decided how much sand, cinder block, and then COVID hit. Bam! It hit, and we were on lockdown. We couldn't move anywhere. I forgot to say that the girl who I was helping, her husband had passed away, and who I knew, and so I kind of took it upon myself to kind of watch over her, which I did, you know what I'm saying. But when COVID struck, we couldn't move anywhere. You couldn't move anywhere unless you had a pass that had the days that you were able to drive through the checkpoints. So which became working on anything very difficult. So anyway, so what happened was that so we had to put aside that project. So in the midst of putting aside that project, I met another girl, and so her and I started seeing each other, and so the other girl, it's funny because both of them had the same name. So anyway, so we didn't complete that, didn't do that project. So afterwards, COVID was. I wanted to move. I wanted to move because I wanted to, more room for Helen Okimi. At this time, I got in Okimi, and because I got in Okimi for Helen to keep her company in the house, because Helen was in the house a lot now, so they were running around. So anyway, so this guy, so the kids one day, they didn't have shoes or anything like this, so I bought them all shoes. So I got a picture of them all holding their new shoes, And then the oldest daughter, her name is Sarah. I bought her an iPhone, an iPad, or whatever it is. And on the back of it, because I knew the desperation of the family, I didn't want it to be sold. So on the back of it, I scratched very deeply on it. This belongs to Sarah, saying like this. So this way, no one could pawn it or no one would want to pawn it, or accept it because it had those. The facing on it. So anyway, so I did what I can, for what I can for them. So I ultimately ended up moving to where I just left from, Abilene and what have you. So kind of lost touch with them and like this, whatever. So just recently, he sent me a message saying that he yeah, hey brother, how are you? I said, I'm fine. Sometimes you can't tell who's talking because usually there's one cell phone and there's a name on there that you recognize the name, but you don't know who's texting. So one of those type of things. So he says, I need money for, his kids are graduating now, and I said, oh really? Wow, which I was really surprised, because I haven't heard much news about them or whatever. So so I started thinking, well, rather than loaning you money, I said, I need some help around this house. I need help fixing things or whatever. And he's already started. So anyway, so I told him, meet me at McDonald's. And we had lunch. Him and his wife came, and it was good seeing them. So they came to the house, and and while we were at McDonald's, he was showing me the pictures on the phone of the kids, and I was saying, oh my God. Matter of fact, here's what I'm here. I hope I was able to find a picture of her when she was a little girl. But anyway, this is a picture of her now. But I was just so struck, by how well they have grown up, his son, who I call son, is now in the military. Showed me a picture of him in his uniform and all that stuff. And man, I could not be more happy. And I can't help but feeling some type of of of, of contribution to the development of those kids, because it really it was just it's like I adopted. It's like I adopted. So she came in, and that day when I took the picture, man, she squeezed me, and she held me. I have to admit now, I'm not the best hugger in the world. She is. Man, she held me and squeezed me and said, I miss you, I miss you. I said, oh my God, oh my God. You see, you don't let the children down. You know, you gotta be there for the children. You don't start something in a child's life that you can't be consist, con, oh my God, consistent in doing it, continuing. You can't make. That's why I don't make promises. I don't make promises. Gerard, you promise? No, I don't make promises. Promises made me broken. I will make a commitment to you, and my commitment. If I make a commitment to you, I'm going through with it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how I live. I don't make promises though. I make commitments. So, but when you make a commitment to do something in a child's life, you know what I'm saying? It's you know you don't take it lightly. I mean, my best student Ashley, who now lives in Avalon. Who I can't see on every day or every Sunday the way I wanted to before. If you don't think that I'm not going to go by there and see her, you are out of your rabbit ass mind. Of course I will. Of course I will. I want to forever be in their life. And that's something, I try to get across that, oh, you're always sitting this one alone. I said, yes, I want to sit alone. I want to be the reason why she was able to, make the calls she need, to further her life, or to make contact, or to stay in touch with who she needs to stay in touch with, or whatever. Yeah, I want to be that reason. You know, I want them to know that they can depend on me. So anyway, um, she showed me her report card that she had on her phone, and I looked at it, and she was so proud. I said, "Oh, your science is bad. So you gotta get that up, and you gotta get this up, and you gotta get that up." And so now, so she showed me three what do you call it, semesters, or you know um, 3 quarters of with her grades, and so it was just wonderful. It's wonderful. That's why I work a lot with Michael, Chris, and Raphael, because I want to be the reason, why they get to not be the reason, but be the catalyst for them to get where they want to get to in life. I don't want to be a man in their life who just came in and just grab their mother and say, okay, kids, wait downstairs. Like, hey, little man, can you do this? Yeah, give me 5. Okay, man. Okay, I'll talk to you in a minute. Go bang the mother and then come back out and say, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna go. Gonna dance with me." That's from Harry. Harry. I can't remember the name. But anyway, I don't want to be that kind of guy to a child. You know. You know. And I like to bend down and look at me. She got, look in my eyes, look into my face. I know I'm not the most handsome guy in the world, but develop looking into people's eyes when you talk to them. It's so important. Okay, I've already talked a little bit too long on this. I'm watching my time. It's already 20 minutes, so let me cut it right here. You're watching Gerard Black in the Philippines with the truth. Remember, dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elder, always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one to see a vision. And the best revenge in life is to live good. I'm living good today. I hope you are too. And if you're lucky enough to have a woman like Ollie Woodson, former lead singer of the Temptation One song, treat her like a lady. And ladies, if you're lucky enough to have a good man like me, make me feel like a king and never say no. I'll always love you more. Real quick, I wanted to give a shout out to Calvin Sunshine Shoulders, who's who's facing some difficulty with his 4M blog about Filipino girls going after old men waiting for them to die. So they can get paid. But which is as old as time itself. But there's somebody who chopped up the video, and file a case against them and all that stuff. This is someone who's been going after them for a while. So, Calvin, all I can say, Calvin, just hold your head, baby, hold your head. You have to be careful living in a foreign country. You know, you can't be you can't be free to say the things that you want to say or what you said in your country to people or on the internet. That's why I don't use profanity. Oh, I try very hard not to use profanity or anything derogatory of that nature because I'm respectful. I am respectful of your culture. I am respectful of the people who are listening to me. Sure, I can use words like JJ and phallus and things of those natures when I'm describing, what I want to describe and say trigger or say peaches instead of the words that people, normally have come used so freely. No, I don't have to do that. Or I can say doing drugs, but I'd rather say I'm moving too fast. When I was moving too fast, I'd rather instead of saying I was a drug dealer, I'm a pharmacist. You know what I'm saying? It's not necessary to paint your story in a word that's automatically going to put you in an extremely negative light and take away from the message of what you want to give. So remember that. Okay? I always and Calvin, like I said, hold your head, Mary. Hold your head. You have to be careful in this country, man. You know. So be that as it may, I'll always love you more. And remember, may you live to be 100, and me 100 minus a day. So I would never know that nice people like you have gone away. That was by Frankie Crocker from WBLS FM in New York City. I'll talk to you later.